It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Thank you so much. Now, we're going to take a bit of an environmental turn now, and I think movies like Deep Blue Sea and Jaws way back when, they certainly created a very sensationalized perception of sharks and how dangerous they can be. And I think, sadly, when every shark attack that we hear about, it really does overshadow the importance of these incredible creatures in our biodiversity. They are a vital cog in the machine, and I'm very happy to have Hanli Prinsloo and Peter Marshall here, who have recently gone on what sounds like an absolute odyssey to fight these perceptions, to change our general view on sharks. And I'm sure your lives have been changed just looking at the visuals that we've seen very briefly. But Hanli, welcome to it. Let's take a step back and talk about I Am Water. What is this organization? What are you striving to do?
Right, so I'm Water's an ocean conservation organization, and my background being in competitive freediving and traveling around the world diving with big animals, I have such a strong sense that if people get to experience the ocean underwater, they will want to protect it. I mean, we protect what we love, right?
Yeah.
So if we can help people to fall in love with the ocean, they'll protect it. So with I'm Water, we take youth and children from underprivileged communities who haven't had the chance to be underwater, and we teach them swimming and we take them snorkeling and instill in them a love of the ocean to protect it. And then on a higher level, Peter and I work with traveling around the world diving with big animals and capturing good visuals that can tell a different story.
What was the story of the Coco Islands? Talk to me about that experience.
It was pretty incredible. The Coco Island is just this little rock in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Amazing scenery. There's waterfalls falling off the cliffs of the island there, and then underwater, it matches what's above on land. It's this underwater playground with sharks and rays and turtles. There's just everything down there. So we had a great time diving there. We saw so much life, and it was really refreshing, yeah.
So how do we change these perceptions? How do we fight against the multi-million-dollar Hollywood machine that is pumping out a very different view on these incredibly, in most cases, harmless creatures, but vital they are the predators, the apex predators of the ocean?
Yeah, sharks have really had the short end of the stick for a very long time. And with movies like Jaws, we love to hate monsters.
Yeah.
And as humans, what we forget is we're not supposed to be the top of the food chain all the time. But we've developed in a way that we can manage our fear and manage threats to ourselves. So we believe that when we go into the ocean, we deserve to be safe, when in fact we are in another creature's environment. So the work we do is really showing people sharks in a different light. So for example, going freediving with sharks and having an experience with an animal that people say to me, but why didn't it eat you? And I'm like, well, I'm not on the menu.
You're not in a cage, why did it not eat you? Yeah,
So it's really about showing people sharks' behavior, which is true. And my experience is that sharks, all the big sharks, are actually quite honest and predictable.
Well, that being said, you must have had a couple of moments where your breath has literally been taken away from you. Excuse the pun, but what has been one of the most awesome experiences that you've had in your freediving experiences?
This trip to Coco Island was very special. It's one of those places I've dreamt of going to, but it's so remote and so hard to access. It's 36 hours by boat from Costa Rica. So first we had to fly to Costa Rica, get on a boat, travel 36 hours out to this island, which is a marine reserve. So 25 kilometers around the island is protected. So you get in the water there and you have this unique experience of diving with schooling hammerhead sharks, schooling jackfish, like really feeling that you're in a wild, natural place. And that, unbelievably, is quite hard to find these days. We've done a pretty good job of destroying ocean habitats.
I think there is sadly, that perception, because it is so vast, that it is this unending resource, both on the fishing front as well. What's next for you guys? What's the next big challenge? I love the knowing looks you keep shooting each other like, easy now, easier. But what's the next mission?
Gosh, well, we have a few missions. Some are just locally based. Just continue working with the kids in Cape Town, keep working with the youth in Durban. And then we have some projects abroad too. So we'll be in Bermuda in a few weeks here, working with some of the kids in Bermuda. So it's always developing.
Life,
and more big animals for me. It's, I look at all the animals I've dived with: sperm whales, blue whales, tiger sharks, other big sharks, manta rays, and unfortunately, the more we do, the more I want to do. So for me, this year bucket list is humpback whales, orcas, and beluga whales.
Oh,
It's going to be a whale year for me.
Oh, we look forward to the visuals. Just very quickly, where can we follow you guys? How can we connect if we want to?
So we're online on IamWaterFoundation.com. And yeah, if you search for I Am Water and Hanli Prinsloo and Peter Marshall, you'll find us. And there's some great work happening, and there's so much to be optimistic about and so much to protect.
Oh, thank you so much. Certainly down here in Cape Town, where we are absolutely spoiled with our oceanic diversity here. Well, this week, of course, the major headline, something that we've all been trying to wrap our heads around, has been the horrific xenophobic action, and it looks like we are finding a spiritual way to combat this.